Before we talk about where we are, we must first remember from whence we came. Marty Schottenheimer brought winning football back to Kansas City and built what is now known as Chiefs Kingdom.
We transitioned from a team built on its defense in the 90s to one of the most dominant offenses and return men in NFL history, led by Dick Vermeil.
In 2012, a 2-14 Chiefs team displayed disastrous play on the field and turmoil off it. We asked to save our Chiefs, and in came Andy Reid, who immediately turned this franchise into a perennial playoff team.
Then, on April 27th, 2017, the Chiefs broke free from their journeyman quarterback restraints and drafted Patrick LeVon Mahomes.
In 6 years with Patrick at the helm, we're back-to-back champs and a dynasty headed towards a three-peat. We are unrelenting for this city, these players, and this team. This is the show for the allies. Arrowhead Allies.
Welcome. It's game week. Arrowhead Allies is on the air. Welcome. Hi. Clint here. Noah, Lance, Shane, we're all here saying hi. The show's going on.
We are
now.
49 hours away from kicking off the 2024 season, baby. 49 hours. They're going to be dropping the banner. 49 hours from right now, they're going to be dropping the banner, and the Chiefs fans are going to be crying, thinking, oh my gosh, I've waited my whole entire life to see this happen 3 times, sitting here at Arrowhead Stadium. They're going to be so excited. Then Lamar Jackson, the wannabe MVP who can't get it done in the postseason, is going to come onto the field to 78,000 boos, unless there's 3 or 4 Baltimore Ravens fans. I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Kansas City Chiefs, worldwide of all ages, you came to the right place. Are you ready to do this? Are you ready to do this? We're going to do this. What do you say, Lance? What do you say, Noah? How you doing, Clint?
I really like. I appreciate Shaggy's enthusiasm, but I really was digging Clint's at first, where he was just addressing that we were alive and just letting people know and
simply a statement of facts.
Stating the facts. Getting Shaggy pumped up and ready to go. It's like he was stoking the fire and it worked out perfectly. So I like the way this thing's starting out, man. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing great, and guys, we have got a big game this Thursday night as it starts off with the Chiefs and Ravens, and I think our friendly intern, the intern Alex is going to join us here. Alex, how's it going, my friend?
Good. How are you?
Doing great.
Alex, the intern, joining us, and it's great to have you, buddy. Didn't give him enough notice to get his clothes cleaned off of his couch back there, but it's okay. He's here. He's live. How's it going, Alex?
Yeah. It's going great.
Are you ready for the season, buddy? Are you ready for this?
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Now, Shane talked about dropping this banner, fans waiting to see this. Now, the players, Alex, they're not into this banner dropping thing. They don't like this pomp and circumstance. I think last year Patrick Mahomes said, hey, we watched it come down. That was about it. We took a look and said, forget it. That was following a loss. Yeah. And so it was easy to just play that off. But do you think the pomp and circumstance and the celebration and all this, does it distract from the game at all? These players, though, seem laser focused and that they've moved on from that Super Bowl.
I mean, I think it's always good to look at what's worked in the past. I mean, you can't go for a three-peat without getting your second one back-to-back. So I think this one, they should definitely celebrate. I mean, it's rare to get one back-to-back, but definitely stay focused on the game. They need to make sure they're focused. So, yeah.
All right, we got an unofficial first depth chart here for the Chiefs as they head into this game against the Baltimore Ravens. Does anything really stand out to you guys? Jalen Watson looks like he might be the number 2 corner, according to this, jumping Joshua Williams, who had a little bit of a rough preseason, but I'd say Jalen Watson did as well when he finally got in there in that last game. But I don't know. Sky Moore making the roster is still confusing. I was hoping that when this unofficial depth chart came out, that was a mistake, a typo, and he just wasn't on the roster, but he is. And Lance, I'm going to play this real quick because McCole Hardman also made the roster, and we had very different reactions As you can see, Lance there dancing, and me not having that great a time, just like Nick Saban wasn't with Pat McAfee's antics over there. So I was not enjoying myself. And Lance, man, you could not get you enough of McCole Hardman.
I can't get enough of McCole only because of the fact that this is a guy that's helped this team win multiple Super Bowls. Damn it. I'm talking about 3 Super Bowls. This is a 3-time champion. And look, I've contextualized McCole since day one. I knew that coming into that 2019 season, he didn't look like a Tyreek Hill replacement, even if that's what the Chiefs had drafted him to become. There's just no replacing Tyreek Hill, and we learned that pretty quickly. And luckily, the Chiefs didn't have to for a couple more seasons. But the thing I like about McCole Hardman is the fact that he just fills a gap. The gap might be very narrow. It might be a niche gap, but it's a gap nevertheless. And he's a guy that the Chiefs clearly, and I bring it up all the time over this last year, clearly saw was a need in this team to do something that they didn't have last season. So much so they traded for him to come back when they let him walk just a few months before. So I like the fact, and clearly making this team after this team is without question added so much more depth to their wide receiver room, without question, from a year ago. Him still making this roster tell you that this team has plans for him in special teams. He's going to play those gimmicky plays, and we know that gimmicky plays are oftentimes frowned upon. When it comes to Andy Reid's offense, gimmicky plays are efficient, and they usually result in points. And we saw in 2022 when McCole Hardman was healthy that year that he was a guy that looked like he was going to have double-digit touchdowns. And I'm not saying that's going to happen again. I think that was something that just happened to play out that year. But he's going to play his role this year. And I think that McCole Hardman is a positive. I don't find negatives in his game because, like I said, I contextualize him. He's a wide receiver 4 or 5. He's not a guy that you're ever going to rely on to carry the offense.
Unfortunate as a former second-round pick that was drafted to replace Tyreek Hill and could have been DK Metcalf. But, I guess our bars are just a little different on where that would be. Alex, I got to go to you because you had a depth chart back in May when I was subbing for you in your class there. Okay, so that's how I met you. That's how I met Alex. I was crazy in his class. Okay, so how do you see the second corner situation? Because obviously you're not going to replace L'Jarius Sneed, but what the Chiefs need is somebody to step up on that spot, whether it be Jalen Watson, whether it be Joshua Williams, or whether it be a wild card like Najee Johnson. Like, what's this going to look like on Thursday and on into the future?
Yeah, well, when I looked at that unofficial depth chart and even just the 53-man roster, something that stood out to me is all 4 cornerbacks are from the 2022 draft class. 3 of those are picked in the last 2 rounds, and 1 was our first round pick. So this is a good thing that Brett Veach can find these talents in the late rounds, but also it might bite us in the butt in a year or 2. So I think personally that Chamari Connor can be a cornerback as well. He's listed as a safety on the unofficial depth chart that you just showed. Same thing with Chris Roland Wallace. He's listed on a safety on that, but on the official Chiefs website, he's listed as a cornerback. So I think
versatility.
Yeah, it's really about. They said, I think Brett Veach said that he's not replacing L'Jarius Sneed with one guy. He's replacing him with a group of guys, right? You can't have a L'Jarius Sneed replacement. That'd be like trying to replace Travis Kelce. You're going to have to pick parts of his game and people that replicate that parts of his game and get a group of guys that can hopefully make up for L'Jarius Sneed's loss. So.
And Shane, bigger picture here as we look at Lamar Jackson's history against the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes hasn't gone so well. 1-4 with a 55% completion percentage. That's kind of in the wheelhouse for Lamar there. But got Todd Haley and Josh McDaniels over here. I think at the end of this game, Lamar Jackson's going to try to play friendly, but Mahomes is going to be like, you got that 1 win, but you're 1 and now 5 against me, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I still have PTSD from that. Joke intended.
That game we lost, I lost the fantasy round because of it. If they won the game, then Lamar Jackson got the points and I lost fantasy and the Chiefs game. It was a terrible night.
Shane, tell us that's not going to happen again.
Oh, it's definitely not going to happen again. Are you kidding me? That game was a fluke game. That game, I watched that game with Lance Twidwell of the Spoken, and he wouldn't sit down.
Lance.
He wouldn't sit down the whole game. He said, "We got this in the bag, dude. Don't worry. We got it in the bag." Clyde's going to get us.
Can you believe that?
We're going to get into field goal range. We're going to kick this field goal, and Clyde fumbled. And it sucked.
PTSD.
Me and Lance had Clay Wheeler, Red Tribe Cinema, had this monster freaking lasagna meal set out for us. We brought our freaking wives and pets and everything. We're all over there having a good time, staying up late on a Sunday, even though we had to go to work early Monday morning. And what happens? Clyde fumbles the football. Well, people might be saying, hold on, Shaggy. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not going to be playing in this game in 49 hours, and it's not going to be because he has this fumble problem. It's because he has a real life problem. You know, we're all kidding aside, our prayers are with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. There's some things that he's brought to light, that he's finally told people that what he's dealing with now, which, you know, let's take football, let's put football in the back burner and hope and pray that he's in his best mental state when he comes to play week 5, or hopefully by week 5 when he's ready to come back off the roster. But I love our running backs that are going to be playing in 49 hours. You got freaking Isaiah Pacheco. You got the NFL Rookie of the Year and Carson Steele. And we had the guy we just picked up last week who killed us with Cincinnati, Samari Pirine. That dude is going to be a stud. I can't wait to see him catch some swing passes out of the backfield. What do you think? What do you think, Alex? What do you think of Pirine edition?
I think he's our perfect Jerick McKinnon replacement, right? He's a solid pass blocker. He knows how to read the defense. He knows if he should pass block or if there's not enough rushers, if he should go out and do a flat, right? And that's where we saw a lot of his production last year, was not necessarily running the ball, but getting those screen passes and being able to read the defensive line, read the box really well. So yeah, I mean, that's how he killed us, was he read our nice Spags defense and he was able to just capitalize on it. So I think that Samaje Perine is going to be absolutely great. He'll be our Jerick McKinnon replacement.
Noah, to me, this game is about Coach Spags and what he dials up against this Ravens offense. We saw it in the AFC Championship game. That's the matchup to watch. You know, you're missing a piece and an integral piece. We talked about L'Jarius Sneed, who made the play of the year in the AFC Championship game on Zay Flowers. We're also forgetting about Willie Gay, who was drafted here specifically because of the bowl game he played for Mississippi State against Louisville, back against Lamar Jackson, and the way he was able to spy him, the athleticism.
Good point.
Spags is going to have to be on one once again. And to see that chess match, Noah, to me, that's the matchup key. I can't wait to see what Spags brings up. And this defense, this first team defense, hasn't played together a lot. Justin Reed's just now healthy, hasn't taken a snap all preseason.
Yeah, he hasn't. And I mean, they're going to be able to do some things on the defensive line because, as you see here, they've lost a lot of pieces that have flown the coop here. We've got Mike McDonald, their defensive coordinators, now in Seattle. Jadeveon Clowney's with Carolina. Patrick Queen is with the Steelers. And then you've got 3 offensive linemen. Kevin Zeitler went to the Lions. Morgan Moses and John Simpson there. They both went to the Jets. So you've got a bunch of new guys on this offensive line. And that's something that I'm going to keep my eye on, is Daniel Faalele and Patrick McCarry versus George Karlaftis and Chris Jones. 1 start for Daniel over there. And while Patrick does have 36 start, it's been at guard, it's been at tackle. And you see here from a site called BaltimorePositive.com, he's not very positive. McCarry is unlikely to be labeled the top starting option at any spot this offseason. However, he typically struggles the longer he's pressed into full-time duty and remains the optimal game day backup. Well, sorry, Luke Jones of Baltimore Positive. You wrote this in March. It is now September, and he is listed as the starting right tackle, so he's getting full-time duty, and he's going against Karlaftis, and if Chris Jones lines up over there. So I like what the Chiefs' defensive line can do.
Yeah, it's gonna be a follow long night for the Ravens' offensive line, in my opinion, man. Because I think that this look, man, and we do have. I think that's a valid topic to bring up when it comes to the lack of playing time this team has had defensively to this point of the training camp portion, the preseason portion. We also have to remember one thing though, that a lot of these guys are dudes that have played together now for 2 or 3 years, and all of them have played at least 2 Super Bowls together. And so you're talking about extended playing time together, and you're talking about a lot of these young guys have more experience than what their years pertain. You look at guys in the NBA, look at like LeBron James, guys like that. They played 21 years in the league, but they've played 6-7 seasons additional of postseason games. That adds that much more experience and readiness to your game before seasons start, because you're that much more experienced in these games and bigger games. And I love the fact that Chiefs are playing the Ravens this early and the Bengals back-to-back weeks. Granted, they're home games, so that's a little bit more of an advantage for the Chiefs, but the fact that they don't get to just kind of walk into the season against a Panthers team, they don't get to walk into this season against a team that they know that they can just stroll through. These are games that they're going to have to immediately put their feet down and say, all right, guys, let's do what we do. Let's wake up. Let's not buy our own hype. We know we're coming for the three-peat, but let's go out there and let's pay attention. Let's pay respect to these legitimate playoff contenders that are not only playoff contenders, but playoff contenders in our own conference. And that's something I very much like. And there's enough experience on the defense side, even though the Chiefs have a ton of youth on the defensive side, there's also a ton of veteran experience. And like I said, these guys have had to grow up quick. Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson, a lot of these young bucks on this team have not only had playoff experience, but playoff success. So they know how to play in these big moments, these big games. This isn't too big for them. And I'm really excited to see how well this defense plays against this Ravens offense. So you just talked about, Clint, a lot of pieces moving on both sides of the ball for the Ravens. The pressure's on the Ravens in this game. We talked about on the Spoken podcast this last Saturday in our preview about how this game is an identity game. This is a game of telling the world basically what are these teams immediately. This is an impression game. First impressions of the 2024 season. And the Ravens have so much more to tell the world than the Chiefs do. Even though the Chiefs are the ones trying to tell the world, they're about to make history and be the first team to ever win 3 consecutive Super Bowls. That should tell you something about where the Ravens are at and where the pressure's at for them, and knowing they have to come into this season where they left off is where they begin, basically against the team that ended their season. They now got to watch that banner drop with a bunch of new pieces, both coaching staff and on the field. That's a lot of difficulty against the Super Bowl champions, man. So I feel bad for the Ravens in this matchup, to be honest with you. Even if it was in Baltimore, I'd feel bad for them because the pressure is so much more on them than the Chiefs in this game, in my opinion.
And Alex, you're our resident fantasy guy. So under Worthy 50 yards receiving and 1 touchdown from Morgan and Shiver.
It's hard to tell. The Ravens have a lot of bigger cornerbacks, so that might be a struggle for Worthy. Also, this is Worthy's first official in-season game. But I love to be optimistic, and damn, he's fast. So I'm going on the over here. So yeah.
We love that. And Shane, I'm going to ask you if the Chiefs can figure out some way to stop Derrick Henry, because they've had some success here and there. You see these games, 188, that was back in 2019. And then in 2020, 2021, 69 yards, 86 yards. And then in 2022, 115 yards, not too terrible, limiting them to 17 carries because Patrick Mahomes was going off in that game, even though it was a close game. I think he had over 400 yards passing. But can the Chiefs figure it out? Can Spags dial up back from 2020, 2021 and shut down Derrick Henry?
I think they have to, and I think Spags will do everything he can to stop the run and make Lamar Jackson one-dimensional. That's what he did in the AFC Championship game in Baltimore last January. He made Lamar Jackson be one-dimensional. He forced Lamar Jackson to stay in the pocket and make him a pocket passer. How did Lamar Jackson respond by being a pocket passer? Not good. Not good at all. So if Steve Spagnuolo concentrates on stopping the big bad Derrick Henry, King Henry as they like to call him, I think we'll be fine. I think Spags has got a plan in place, but I think that's what you do. You stop the run and you say, okay, Lamar, be accurate down the field. And we'll see how it happened in 49 hours.
Yeah. He's old. He's getting old.
He is getting older, but he's still a tough running back, still getting those 1,000-yard seasons. Although I think he had 1,300 a couple years ago and only barely 1,000 last year. So the wear and tear is going to be there, but he also provides wear and tear to the defense throughout an entire game. We've talked about that, Lance, before, how he wears on you through 4 quarters.
Yep. Yeah. Derrick Henry's still got, I think, plenty left in the tank. This is a guy that, although has been beat up in his career, he's given plenty of beatings back. He's a big physical back. We know this. I call him Derrick John Henry because he just looks like a mythical creature out there. I just think that he's a guy they write books about, man. He's one of my favorite players I've ever seen play football. I really love watching Derrick Henry. He's like a throwback, man. He really, really is. And so that is something. But I've always said that I think that he basically he colors their purple a little bit more purple. He doesn't really make them stand out anymore. It's just a little bit more of what they already are as the Ravens. We know they can run the ball. But like Shane just said, though, there's something that Spags does in these matchups against Lamar Jackson that literally no other DC can do, or at least has done. In every other game of Lamar Jackson's career, he averages 23 pass attempts per game. Against the Chiefs, it is 33 pass attempts per game. And we're not looking at blowouts. If the Chiefs have blown out Baltimore one time, They've blown them out one time. Every other game is one possession games. And yet Lamar Jackson's throwing the ball over 30 times a game against the Chiefs. That's insane to think about. So what Spags does, he pressures them. He sends those corner blitzes. He sends all that pressure, but it's more of like more of a cagey blitz where he's not trying to actually hit the quarterback. He's keeping him in the pocket. Yes, he's keeping him in the pocket. You saw Trent McDuffie do that several times in the AFC Championship game, and it's beautifully done by Spags. And I know that L'Jarius Sneed's not there. I understand that's a worry, but we've talked about it on this show. We've talked about it on other shows, guys. This is a revolving door at that position in the Spags system because it's more about the Spags system. And as long as Chris Jones is there to build around, the Spags system is going to continue to be exactly as it is right now. So as our guy Alex just mentioned about Shamari Connor and the emergence of him and some of these other young guys, that's exactly what I'm expecting as well. And I'm expecting Spags to use them the exact same way he's been using all these other young guys in these types of matchups. So expect the Chiefs to force Lamar to throw the ball, even with Derrick John Henry on the field. The Chiefs are going to make Lamar stand in the pocket and have to deliver the ball downfield to Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, and guys like that, and may the best man win.
Yeah, we've talked about this already. The corners, we've got Josh Williams, Jalen Watson, Najee Johnson out there. And we are going against Zay Flowers. And if he ever gets matched up on one of these guys, look for Lamar to target that. Hopefully Trent McDuffie follows him around, but we'll see what the Chiefs have in store for that. Because other than that, it's Rashad Bateman. It's Nelson Aguilar there, who has a history of drops. And then you've got a guy like Tylan Wallace, a young kid, as their fourth receiver. So it's going to be interesting to see how they perform after not having a strong preseason, if they can come out and shine when the lights are brightest, because they've shown that's what they've done through their young careers right now, whether it be that AFC Championship game in the Bengals, where they were forced into duty, Jalen Watson with a pick, Brian Cook tips it, and Josh Williams picks it against Joe Burrow. And that Chargers game with the 99-yard touchdown return that Jalen Watson had against Justin Herbert. So when the lights are on, they played well. We're just talking about this recent preseason. For whatever reason, they didn't show out. And so we're a little worried, a little hesitant and watching out for that. And here's a wild card that I have. Deontay Hardy was signed from the Buffalo Bills last year. He had a 96-yard punt return last season for Buffalo, averages 23 to 27 yards a kick return, and that could be more dangerous with this new rule. So that's my wild card. Watch for him to get off.
I can't wait to see how this looks tomorrow on Thursday, with all this, with the new kickoffs. We saw it in the preseason. Alex, you're a rugby guy. You watch this special teams and how much this adds to the excitement of an NFL game. Like, has this met your expectations? Do you feel like, for one, like a Louis Rees-Zammit is a rugby guy, obviously didn't make the team. He's a Jaguar now, but the way the Chiefs seem to sort of struggle at the onset of the preseason with this new rule, with the way it's going to, do you expect there to be any fireworks tomorrow as far as this new rule goes?
I mean, Andy Reid loves to have his fun, and me and Noah went out to a golf tournament, interviewed Dave Tobe, and he said they have a few plays drawn up for this new kickoff where one guy will get it and he actually dishes it off like a rugby pass to the next guy. I think that these plays can get so interesting. If you're watching flag football, like the up and coming flag football, if you're watching rugby, they're always utilizing these lateral passes. And I think that Dave Tobe and Andy Reid will get really creative. I don't know if it'll come out week 1 or in the playoffs, but I think eventually we'll get really creative with this, and I hope to see it Thursday night. So, yeah.
Yeah, and Clint, I want to go to you with this. Our top 5 first or second year Chiefs to watch versus the Ravens on offense. We've got Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, and Juju coming back from the Patriots to the Chiefs, and then Samaje Perine, Carson Steele. And for Lance, I had to throw in Kingsley Suamataia there.
Thank you.
Lance.
We placate around here.
Yes, Drew Tranquil, Shamari Connor, Jaden Hicks, FAU, I guess. There's not many first or second year guys on the defense that I'm super interested in. A lot of them are like third year. And then Cam Thomas coming over, if he's even active. That'll be interesting to see who they have active and inactive for this game. That's another story. But what do you make of this list? Who do you have your eyes on?
Yeah, someone had mentioned in the comments about Xavier Worthy over-under on 50 yards. That is something really good to keep your eye on. And Rashee Rice, guys, people forget. Last year, Rashee Rice in the AFC Championship game put the hammer down to win the game. It's called back for a phantom holding on Trey Smith. It never happened. It was a terrible call. The game was over. Rashee Rice sprinted into the secondary unfettered to win that game. That game was over. That was eventually called back. And you love to see, Patrick Mahomes has had nothing but positive things to say about Juju Smith-Schuster being back on this roster. we all saw what Carson Steele did in the offseason and here in the preseason. The excitement level's got to be there. The expectations are probably too high. This is not probably going to be Mike Allstott out there. This is probably not going to be someone that leads a team in rushing at any point this season, even in a given game. And Samaje Perine, sure, yeah, what a great addition. I think that all that's great. And defensively, FAU, you got him on there at number 4. It kind of speaks negatively to him that you would have him number 4 on here
on purpose. There speaks,
maybe exactly. And obviously, Jaden Hicks out of Washington State, man, is the more that time's gone on, you hear the national pundits say, "Hey, I had him ranked in the top 50. I had him number 53 of overall." Like, that's something you got to watch. I mean, we've done such a great job of drafting people in the secondary. We got questions about that second corner. Safety looks good for years to come, even if Justin Reed is not going to be here in the future. But those are all very good things to watch. And Cam Thomas, it says a lot about Brett Veach. Now, Brett Veach, man, we've criticized him at the skill positions, right? At the receiver position until Rashee Rice and maybe Xavier Worthy. But he has this knack of bringing in guys that what you need to do, Noah, sometimes is find a guy that could come in here and solidify and add depth to a position. Okay.
They've done just that. And Lance, they've done it with Kingsley Suamataia. I know you're going to be watching him closely.
I'm going to be paying attention to Kingsley, but I don't want to sound carefree here, but I'm not really worried about Kingsley as much as other people might be, because of the fact that I knew this was going to be the starter from day one. So I'm going to watch him, but I think that he's proven himself already that he's going to be a guy. He's going to have growing pains, and he's got some great matchups coming up. He's got Max Crosby a couple times this year. He's got a few guys this season. Myles Garrett later on in the year. He's got some. Yeah, there's going to be some dudes that are really going to challenge what he is, and I think he's going to rise to the occasion. But he will have growing pains. But I'm not expecting him to have a bad game in week 1. I'm expecting him to actually play very well. The guys I'm actually going to be looking in this game is a couple guys on the defensive side in particular. Now, Rashee Rice, I'm expecting him a monster season. I don't know if you guys saw earlier today on Twitter, but I put out my stat predictions. I'm expecting Rashee Rice to have over 90 receptions for over 1,100 yards and lead the team in touchdowns with double digits, with 12 touchdowns this season. I'm expecting Rashee Rice to have a monster season this season. I think he's going to be wide receiver 1 and establish himself as that. But when it comes to the defensive side, man, because, everybody's talking about the offense again because, the excitement's back and they got that depth again. They got guys that can throw it, and Patrick can throw downfield too, and the offensive line's been solidified, all that good stuff. The defensive side, I think, is being a little bit overlooked again. And I think the defense is going to be really, really good this season. And I think it's also going to be because of the fact they have the best, in my opinion, the best group of safeties in the entire league. And I think that Jaden Hicks and Shamari Connor are going to play their roles to the best of their abilities. I think Jaden Hicks is a day one guy in this league. He's one of those guys that just has the feel of the league. He just understands the game. His body's built for it. I feel like he's a day one contributor. And I think Jaden Hicks is going to be one of those guys that Spags likes to put all over the field. And you already know Shamari Connor is one of the most versatile defenders on this defense. You saw it in small sample sizes last season. You're going to see it even more this season. He's an even bigger, more physical version of what L'Jarius Sneed could be, who obviously started out as a 4th round safety as well. So these are guys that I'm really going to be paying attention to as well because, like I said, they're going to force Lamar Jackson to throw the ball and throw it downfield. Where is Jaden Hicks and where is Shamari Connor going to be in this game? And if you see Bateman, you see Zay Flowers locked up downfield, I have a feeling to me those two guys are going to be doing it. So watch for those guys as well. But yeah, you don't mind doing Kingsley's going to be doing his thing, baby. We already know Suamataia is the king for a reason, baby. You can't spell Kingsley without king, and he is the king, man. So I'm looking forward to that left tackle being shored up for the next decade, my friends. He's going to be there for a long time.
I want to echo what Lance is saying about Kingsley, and I want to bring up what I've been saying on Arrowhead Allies the last couple of years. And this needs to be, I hope NBC brings it up during the game because I've done my homework on Andy Reid and left tackles. Wanya Morris was the first rookie left tackle Andy Reid has ever played, ever. And I was texting Lance back and forth near the end of the season when Wanya Morris started 6 games in a row. I would say that was a great drive by Wanya Morris. Then, as a blocker, pass blocker, and run blocker, he looked solid. And then the next drive, Patrick Mahomes would be sacked because Wanya Morris would miss his block. Now, fast forward to this year, Kingsley Suamataia, his ceiling is a hell of a lot higher than Wanya Morris's going into his first ever NFL start. Now, we're still gonna see the same mistakes that Wanye Morris made. Kingsley may look great on a drive, but there's gonna be a drive where he's just gonna miss and he's gonna get sacked, which brings me to the point I'm making. We have to be patient and let him grow. Like I said, Kingsley's ceiling is higher than Wanye's, but this is something Andy Reid in his 26th year as a head coach begins in 49 hours. He has never done, and that is draft or put a left tackle rookie out there. I know people say, well, he had Creed and he threw him out there and he was a rookie. Well, he had Trey Smith. He was a rookie and he was a right guard. There's something different about the left tackle protecting Patrick Mahomes' blind side. This will be a first ever. The season starts with Andy Reid trusting a rookie, and Kingsley's the man. Let's grow with it, because it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be a process. I'm willing to freaking do it. I hope the rest of Chiefs Kingdom's willing to grow with them. And props to Lance for sticking his neck out for Kingsley before we even drafted him. I hope Andy Reid gets the benefit as well for not having to pick up Donovan Smith to mentor Kingsley before he went out there. This is big news. Kingsley starting in 49 hours is big news. What do you think, Clint?
I was really hoping you wouldn't go to me, Shane. Once again, when you have two straight offensive line narratives and it goes to me, trust me, I have not been paying attention for like 7 straight minutes.
Oh, come on.
Lesson learned, Shane. No, of course I have, and I agree. I'm excited. I was really hoping you go to Noah. He's the resident offensive line over here. It's Noah, the one you want to go to. No, we're excited about it. That's great. The fact that we can talk about this so calmly says a lot about his development and where we're at. Like, I don't think about it. I don't think this offensive line needs to be critiqued or looked at or poked and prodded. We're good with it. Let's roll. And now we can talk about things like over under on Xavier Worthy 50 yards. More exciting topics.
We do have this.
That's big news. Even though you two don't want to talk about a left tackle rookie starting, that is big news.
No, it is. Yes.
Clint likes to have a little fun, rib you a little bit. But Morgan Van Shiver comes in. How does Sky fit into all this? I just don't see it because he's never shown us anything. Maybe kick returns with McCole. What do you say, Sir Alex?
I personally like Sky more. I think
all right. Thank you, Alex. It's been fun having you here.
No, but seriously, I think if he can quit getting in his own head and return to his Western Michigan days or wherever he was at, he can catch the ball and he can get yards after the catch. And I think if he just quit thinking about it and just caught the darn ball, maybe he could be good. This is his last chance, though. I'm willing to give him up after he does crappy. But yeah, I think that Sky Moore will have an increased role over the middle. I don't think he's our guy to go and run 50 yards downfield. I think that's why we drafted Xavier Worthy, so we don't have to put Sky Moore or Justin Watson in that scenario. We can attack over the middle a little bit more, because Sky Moore isn't slow. He's a quick guy, and I think he will feast on a little check down pass or a little flat right down the middle or flat down the side. So he's not unathletic. He's an athletic person. I agree he doesn't get separation sometimes, but if he's not getting separation, that means that he's carrying a defender with him, a defender that would oftentimes be on another receiver, such as Xavier Worthy. If we can scheme them to be on Sky Moore and send Xavier Worthy down 50 yards, I mean, Patrick Mahomes and deep balls go together like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. So yeah, I mean, it's perfect.
Baby. No, Noah, we've gotten to use a lot of food references here when it comes to these receivers. Usually it's used incorrectly, like Brian last year saying on this team, everybody eats. Alex did just say that he would be feasting. If feasting for Sky Moore would be 288 yards, 300 yards, and 2 touchdowns, I guess that would be feasting. Noah, I don't know if you still have the great graphics. They're not really applicable anymore. We don't have MVS here. We've got some changes. No Tony. So I know those graphics aren't going to be up to date. But yeah, we talked about the Everybody Eats last year, and I wanted to get an Everybody Eats. That was our Everybody Eats graphic for last season. Sky Moore Was he Tiny Tim there? Is that supposed to be Tiny Tim from A Christmas Story? Like I said, there never was such a goose. Oh, meanwhile, receivers we could have had eating high off the Hog Brothers.
Our receivers again are just
Nice.
One grape, or is that a pea each? What does Sky have there in the trash can? Oh my God.
A rotten apple back there. And a banana on his head. Jeez Louise.
And meanwhile, it's a Thanksgiving feast for our friends. DK.
Oh my God.
Eating well, my friends.
Brothers.
We want to answer this question honestly about Sky Moore and what his role is going to be. Let's be real, guys. Like we should just Photoshop a picture of him on Bobby Boucher when he was the water boy, because that's what he's going to be. He's going to be fetching drinks for the other 5 to 6 receivers that are going to actually play a role in this offense. Look, I swear I'm not going to go on another tangent. I already did it, guys. I've already asked, and I still haven't gotten a valid answer from anybody as to why in the hell this dude made the roster still, that being Sky Moore. I understand, Alex, what you're saying about, this is his last chance, but here's my problem. The wide receiver room is now so deep, and he has now fallen so far down, unless there is a plethora, like Three Amigos, a plethora of injuries, I don't see how Sky Moore's ever going to get that chance again. I don't know why, and so therein lies my question. Why is he still on this team? Because, not to bring up my guy again, because he's on the practice squad, and I'm happy he's there because, he'll be there in reserve. But Nico Remigio at least brings something to the team from a punt return and kick return aspect. That's not Sky Moore's strength, because, as I recall, Sky Moore has more muff punts in his career than touchdowns. So I don't really see why he's on this team from any aspect at all, other than, like I said, maybe he's really good at filling up those Gatorade bottles, and that's where I think he's going to be at.
He's going to get to meet Taylor Swift this year. He's going to get a selfie with Taylor Swift this year. And he might be in that role of, like, who was it that was, I didn't even see who it was, but they were talking about, somebody was on that farm podcast, and how he was telling the story about how that Tom Brady had this room in Tampa where they put all the signed merchandise and just sign stuff. Sky's like entering that phase of his career where he's just like trying to get stuff signed by Patrick Mahomes for his kids later on in life. Like, I'm here one more year. Like, I get to get Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes to sign like all these jerseys and helmets and stuff, and like maybe get a selfie with Taylor. Like, that's literally Sky Moore this season.
When Hollywood Brown comes back, somebody's going to be inactive or released, so it could be Sky Moore. I think maybe the only reason he's still on this
Looking
team.
at the unofficial depth chart heading into this game, McCole Hardman is the last listed wide receiver. So my hope is alive that Hollywood Brown comes back and McCole is gone, and I can start to distance myself from thoughts and memories of being able to draft DK Metcalf in a Super Bowl 56 championship that we would have had if we did draft him. So that's, I need that, but yeah, you're probably right. It probably is.
Who's doing punt returns if McColl's cut?
It ain't going to be So that's why good point, Lance. That proves my point.
That's not a thing.
It is not going to be Sky Moore.
No, it's not going to be Justin Watson, and they're not going to put Xavier Worthy back there because he's a first-round pick who they're expecting to have big things come out of him offensively.
Right.
So that's my whole point. Is that
Carson Steele.
McColl at least has a role in this team. We can all agree to that. Like, I understand about the PTSD of the yesteryear of drafting him over DK, and I agree with you on that. But at least McColl has validity on the roster.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
That's cool.
And I think that the Chiefs really value just knowing the playbook, and with pulling up a guy like Justin Reed or Nico Remigio, when we gave Justin Ross a chance, I mean, he blew his chance. So, I mean, giving a chance to a guy like Nico Remigio or Justin Ross or Montrell Washington might not be worth it in the eyes of the coaches and the GM when you have playmakers, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, and Rashee Rice. When you have those playmakers, why lower your floor for a potentially another playmaker? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, the devil you know. Noah, the devil you know.
He can line up correctly in any position on the field, but he can't make a play. What's the point?
Because the devil you know is better than the devil you don't.
Well, the devil you know sucks.
When Hollywood Brown comes back, we'll know, hey,
and that's
who's on the bottom.
Yeah.
Is there any worries in this game for you guys other than, like, Shane, what about like an RPO? If we're having trouble, if Lamar Jackson's putting it in the belly of Derrick Henry, and everyone's crashing at Derrick Henry, and then Lamar pulls it out, and he's gone. That's a worry for me with the Ravens offense. I'm not worried about Lamar chucking it deep or design quarterback runs. I'm worried about the RPO game between him and Derrick Henry, because we got to pay attention to Derrick. You got to get to him early. You got to get to his feet before he gets chugging down that field. You got to stop him. But if Lamar pulls it out, or if they're focused on Lamar and he gives it to Derrick and then there's no one there and he's a locomotive running down with only corners and safeties to run over, I mean, that's something that I'm worried about with this defense, looking at the RPO game between Lamar and Derrick Henry.
What about like in 2019, the Baltimore Ravens came to Arrowhead in week 2, right? This was Steve Spagnuolo's second game. And what did we see happen in that game? The exact game plan, Noah, that you discussed, which was, and that Shane, that you discussed about, trying to make Lamar one-dimensional. What did he do in that game?
Oh, he went off, but we had our quarterbacks and middle linebackers were Anthony Hitchens and Bashad Breeland and Charvarius Ward. I mean,
that game where he was just chucking stuff.
Yes, that's what I mean. So that is my concern right there. Noah, you've hit it. Is being effective at making Lamar one-dimensional. And with a playmaker like Zay Flowers, we saw him hurt the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. Not enough, though. Sorry, Zay. Wasn't quite enough. We did interview him on the field there in Kansas City before the draft, and I did like Zay. I do like him, very much respect. But that's my biggest fear, is Lamar chucking up deep balls that the Baltimore Ravens are able to come down with. You saw it in 2019. The Chiefs were just absolutely laying the smackdown against the Ravens in that game. If you recall, I think that was Hollywood Brown's rookie year. I think Hollywood Brown was a part of that in 2019.
Yeah, with all due respect, that's apples to oranges compared to this defense.
Of course, of course.
I
only played them 5 times. I'm just,
even if I know the last year at this time, right at this time, Travis Kelce hurts his ankle. He's not going to play in the home opener. Chris Jones is holding out. He's going to sit in the middle deck with Katz brothers. He didn't play. Kadarius Toney's dropping balls left and right. And I know the Lions and Ravens are a different team, but are they really? Both were in their conference championship games. Mm-hmm. But my point is, this year, the Chiefs, especially because they lost that game when we dropped the banner last year, which I was at the game with Clay Windler of Red Tribe Cinema, especially since they lost that game, they're going to be so up for it this year. They're going to say, hey, we came here last year without Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, and Kadarius Toney was dropping the ball, and we lost by 1 point. This sucks. We know what we're playing. We know what we're playing against Baltimore, because we played them last year. We know what they're about. We're going to be ready, and Spags is going to have them ready. And I expect Kelce and Chris Jones to play even better, because they didn't play the home opener the first game of the season last year. So I understand your concern about the RPOs. That's what every defensive coordinator has to worry about when they're playing up against the Baltimore Ravens. Every defensive coordinator knows, man, I got to worry about the RPO. Is Lamar Jackson going to hand it off, or is he going to run? So definitely it is a concern. You got to give him props because you respect Derrick Henry. You respect the threat that is Lamar Jackson. But I just believe the Chiefs are going to be up for it, especially since that demoralizing loss last year. What do you think, Lance?
Yeah, I think the biggest, if I had to really pick one out, because I am very confident in the Chiefs winning this game. I'm very confident. It's a completely different vibe, like you were talking about, Shane, from last year to this year, just knowing how complete the team is, how healthy they are, and it just feels like everyone's on the same page with Chris Jones, obviously having his long-term deal. I guess the only thing I would have to say, and we know that this is something that happens at least 1 to 3 times a year with the Chiefs, a game where they just have a bunch of stupid penalties and a dumb turnover that puts the other team in the red zone, and it just unnecessarily close, and the Chiefs just really just fall victim to playing to the level of their competition. The only counter to that, and I'm not even trying to fight my own argument here, but it is fighting my own argument. The Chiefs know who they're facing this week, and they know how dangerous the Ravens are with Lamar Jackson under center. This is a team that wins over 71% of their games with Lamar Jackson at the helm. So this is a team they have to take seriously. And like I said, there's no breaks for them, because the very next week they got to play the Bengals at 3:30 on Sunday. So they know that this is a task they have to take on and be very serious about, very diligent about, very, very quick and very early. And Andy Reid is the best coach in the league after bye weeks or week 1 games, just from a win percentage perspective. And they've got to remember, guys, John Harbaugh is a former assistant coach of Andy Reid. And Andy Reid is 23-9 in his career against his former assistants, 6-0 as well in the postseason. So this is something that Andy Reid feasts on, these opportunities, and that's why I feel really good. But again, these are humans we're talking about, and this team has a lot of young guys that will be playing roles in this game. And so the nerves will be there. They'll see the banner. They'll be juiced. Even Patrick Mahomes talks about it to this day. Then he comes out there and he's fired up and wanting to just throw the ball 95 yards down the field. He has to calm himself down sometimes as a veteran player. So I'm imagining some of these young guys in the Chiefs are going to want to go out there and make a big play and do something great. And sometimes they get a little over-exemplified and they pull a guy down too quick or they hit a guy late or something like that. I'm looking for that'd be the only thing that would worry me. If the Chiefs play a good, solid game where the flags are even and they don't make a bunch of bad turnovers, this is a game where I think the Chiefs can win this game by 6, 7, if not 10 points.
Well, we will get to our predictions here in just a minute, but we got some programming notes, not only here on Starcade Media, but for Chiefs Kingdom on NFL Network. We'll start with NFL Network first. They seem to be important. America's game, Kansas City Chiefs 2023 championship season. Their back-to-back season. That will be on NFL Network tomorrow night, Wednesday, September 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's 7 p.m. Central for you folks here inside Chiefs Kingdom in Missouri, Kansas, in the Midwest here. So make sure you're tuned into that. Paul Rudd will be narrating. They'll talk about Taylor Swift dropping to 9-6 following the Vegas loss on Christmas Day, the connection between Mahomes and Kelsey, and lots more fun stuff for everyone wanting quotes and to make graphics to post on social media. I don't know who that could apply to, but Shane, you got to take this one away because this is going to be our Starcade Media Chiefs after each and every Chiefs game.
Oh my God.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this will be War Chant wrap-up with Harvey Williams and Shaggy Shane. All my 4,000 subscribers and followers on YouTube, jump on over to the Starcade Media YouTube page. Jump on over for post-game because it's going to be exclusively on Starcade YouTube. So all my YouTube followers that are watching this now, jump on over. Harvey Williams had a successful 8-year NFL career. He spent 3 years with the Kansas City Chiefs. He was a starting running back in 1993. He went to the Raiders for the next 5 years, and he was productive. He was a damn good running back. He was a team guy. And honestly, I'm going to be straight up honest. And I tell Harvey Williams this already. I said, man, if you did not go to the Raiders and have a productive NFL career, I wouldn't take you this seriously. But the fact that you lived up to being a number 1 draft pick in silver and black, and you can tell the stories, and he knows football from both the red and yellow and the silver and black, it's important to have him as my co-host. I would not do it with anybody else but Harvey Williams. I consider him a friend. He's a high IQ guy. He knows football. He knows the sports. And ladies and gentlemen, hold on, because this show is going to be off the rails. It's going to be real talk. It's going to be in your face. And it's going to be exclusively on Starcade Media. Buckle up, because you're not going to freaking want to miss it.
I love Prediction time, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for our Week 1 predictions. Always my favorite part of the show. Shane, we're going to save you for a little bit because you might need a little more time to concoct some really good scenarios for us. I can't wait to hear it. I'm just going to start because I'm pumped. I'm ready for the season. I need it so bad. My mental health has been declining for months, and I'm back, baby. It's time. Football's ready to roll. We've seen 2 weeks of college so far. I'm back in it. I'm dialed in, guys. My PTSD has come to an end. I'm ready to roll. I don't need 4 weeks, but you can keep paying me though, Noah. Chiefs win 24-21. The Chiefs win this game. We know how these games are with the Ravens. Tight, physical. We're going to see the Chiefs come out on top once again. The way that Kansas City starts, with the exception of last year against the Lions, losing week 1, the Chiefs are lights out, ready to play. Mahomes is ready to play week 1. This is going to be a good statement game for the Chiefs to get to 1-0 before, of course, losing to the Bengals next week. We'll cross that bridge when we get here. The Chiefs are 1-1. Thank you. See you guys in 2 weeks.
Alex, what you got?
I'm over here, and I'm thinking the difference in this game is going to be our safeties and Leo Chanel, right? We have a great safety room, and Leo Chanel is our most underrated player on the team. That is a fact. Leo Chanel he's quick. He can get in the box. He knows how to fake a blitz, right? I think he's a good coverage guy. And like you said, Clint, with the RPOs, our safeties are going to be able to read that, along with Leo Chanel. He's going to be able to read that. And those guys have been able to either blitz, stop the run, or go into deep coverage, like you said. So I think it's going to come down to safeties, Leo Chanel, and it's not going to be close. It's going to be 30-17. We're going to score 3 touchdowns and 3 field goals, and they're going to have 1 rushing touchdown, 1 passing touchdown, and they're going to kick a field goal. So yeah, the Chiefs are hungry, dude. They're hungry. They're sick of the Justin Tucker shenanigans last year, and then the Zay Flowers shenanigans last year. They're sick of it. They want to take this knockoff Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, and they just want to put them in the dirt for good. They're done for. So yeah, 30-17.
Dude, I love that.
Chiefs.
I hope so.
Lance, hit me.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys saw again. I keep plugging this, but I have Patrick Mahomes winning the MVP this season because last time we saw him have even close to what he has now, weapons-wise, he won MVP and he threw for 5,200 yards and 41 touchdowns. He's going to replicate those numbers this season. He's going to have over 5,100 yards, and I have him at 42 touchdowns this season. He's going to win MVP for the 3rd time in his career. That has to start out the gate. We see every season when he plays well and he has big numbers, he has to start out the gate pretty hot. That's what's going to happen in this game. I am lockstep with Alex in this. I think that with the Ravens having McDonald gone in Seattle, 3 defensive players gone, 3 key defensive players gone, a lot of mixed plate stuff going on there in Baltimore. We don't really know what this team is other than Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh. They'll figure it out, but I think it's going to take a few weeks for them to really find their gear. The Chiefs know what they have to do this season. They have to make a statement. They have to show the AFC in particular that they're coming for this 3-peat. They're focused and they're ready to go. I'm going to take it a step further, Alex. I have the Chiefs because they've blown out the Ravens one time, and it was in 2020 when there was no crowd out there in Baltimore. I think it's a very similar game though in this one with the crowd rocking. I think the Chiefs win this game 34-20. Patrick Mahomes throws 4 touchdowns in this game.
Yeah, so that would be music to my ears. Shane, let's hear it.
Kenneth Caldwell said 31-14. I got the Chiefs winning 34-14. The Baltimore Ravens will be up at halftime 14-10, but the Chiefs will go on a 24-0 run in the second half. Win it going away. Tune into the War Chant wrap-up with Shaggy Shane and Harvey Williams, probably about 10:45 p.m. Stay up late on Thursday night, and we'll break it down thoroughly, buddy. But I got the Chiefs 34-14.
Noah, tell me you and I are more in lockstep. I'm going to guess you and I are more in lockstep. You got a close game here. You know how these games go.
Well, if this does go awry, I think it's going to be trouble with the RPO, trouble with cornerbacks 2, 3, and 4, but I don't see it going awry. I don't think the RPO is going to give us that many problems that it's going to cause us to lose the game. I don't think that the corners are as bad as they showed in preseason. I think they are big-time players. When the lights shine, they come out and they play their best. And so I've got this one, although it is close, 27-23, Chiefs win by 4. I think the line's 4.5. So you might want to take Ravens plus 4.5 if you believe me. If you believe these other blowouts, then take the Chiefs minus 4.5 and you'll win comfortably. But our last little note here before we say goodbye and bid you adieu is we had James Hasty scheduled for this show, and he confirmed it earlier in the week, last week on Friday. And we reached out to him this weekend and Monday and today, and we haven't heard back. So he's got his own consulting business here. We'll plug it anyway, and tries to get minorities coaching jobs because they have a tough time getting either whether it's head coaching, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator jobs. So he's come up with some data and some stats to help them take to these GMs and owners, try and help get them more opportunities in the coaching world, whether it be college or pro. And so we want to make sure you guys go there. You see the website down there, and hopefully we can get him on sometime in the near future. But we just didn't hear him back. We hate promising a guest and then it doesn't work out. But this is live television. It happens. We're sorry. We'll be back with the guest next week, we hope.
And you guys all got to meet Alex, the intern.
What's up, Alex?
What a dude. What a guy. He's
stepping in.
Yeah, hey, thank you guys so much.
Who names James Hasty? We got Alex.
Yeah.
Alex is he knows his stuff. He knows his stuff. He reminds me a lot. I see a lot of myself, in Alex. Although I'm 40 now, so our ages are so apart now that he could be my son. Probably he's probably young, old. I'm old enough to have fathered a child. Maybe Alex, we do kind of look alike. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know.
Can you guys get a DNA check just to make sure?
I don't know.
We'll have that for you next week on Arrowhead
Yeah.
House.
Goodbye.
Hey, man.
Thank you, everybody. And as always, stay tuned for War Chant wrap up after the game and go Chiefs!
Chiefs!